Because I'm saying to you, I'm writing out a check for $20,000, I mean 20,000 rupees to you to get the work started. And you're saying, wait a second, you started, wait a second. Now you're saying, wait a second, let's put the brakes on here. Okay. And I'm saying, what's wrong? You don't like money? And you're saying, by the way, I'm not making light of it, but this is actually what happens. And sometimes coaches will not get away from it, but you know what? That is what's going to sabotage the relationship.
Yes, of course, because if it's...
And I'll tell you, you will earn more respect if you say at that point in time, look, I understand the agreement is between you,
but I can't help you that way. Yeah.
But the agreement also has to involve...
the other person.
Now you're the group executive coach, okay? And I say to you, now here's the verbiage now. And I'm saying to you, we have a team, okay, of some senior executives that we want you to coach.
Right.
We've got a lot of nice things about your group executive coaching experience, okay? And we're assigning you to this team, okay, to work with, and we will spell out what the issues are to you. We'll tell you. Because I'll tell you, they keep it very close to their vest. They will not start telling you all that stuff right away. This is the way corporations work. I've worked pretty much all my life with corporations, so I know exactly how they work, and I'm sure all of you can testify to that. They will not tell you everything right away. Okay?
It's also a way of testing you.
Way of testing you.
Yeah.
Saying, will you be able to find the issue?
So we will assign you 6 people to coach, okay? And then again, the discussion is how much would you be charging and this and that. Before you go into the fee, and if you have not stopped the person before going into the fee, you've already lost that contract, lost your credibility there. You have to stop that person. Wait, hey, before we start discussing fee, I must know what I'm really being assigned to do.
And if you already know the problems, then why are you asking me to kind of...
I may not even say that. I might say, look, I need to know a little bit more. Yes. So before we do that, I'd like to set up a time with you. Either I can do it today, or I can do it later. We can set up another time. I need to have an inventory of questions that I need to ask. To go through what are some of the issues. What are the concerns, and what are your expectations from me? Because the company may have strong expectations of you. And if you're not able to deliver, so how can you deliver without knowing all the facts?
Those expectations are also based on perceptions of the company.
Yes.
So it is also important for a coach to bring that awareness into the HR director's mind that this is not how it works.
And here we're talking about and when we go into tomorrow today, we're doing the contracting and everything else, I'll talk to you about that and and I'm glad this topic came up because this is such an important topic. Do you jump right in and go for the kill because you've got everything ready, and then somewhere down the road, because you're going to lose your credibility, they'll say, hey, listen, you could have stopped me. I would have told you everything there was to it.
And there could be a possibility where an organization doesn't know about the real issue. They are just talking about perceptions.
They think they know.
Exactly right. Thank you for bringing that in.
Yeah. So
sometimes what they think is the issue is really not the issue because they don't know what the issue is.
Yeah.
Why is this team not working together? Why is this senior executive having so many problems?
The attitude of most HR directors is, this is a problem, fix it.
Fix it!
Yes, exactly.
This is the problem, fix it. Because there's no luxury of time there.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Ashley.
Do companies ever let you meet the team participants, or is that very rare?
Or I'll tell you, in my work that I've done, I have been very blessed because but either because the way I put it out there in the beginning, I tell them really bluntly that this is the way I do my work. Okay, so a lot of times they'll know how we do the work. Okay, they will have already seen that these are the expectations, these are norms, and so companies expecting that, so they know. I always ask for a meeting with the group
Before you sign.
Before you really start on.
As a group?
And I will say to the group as a group, and I'll say, all I'll be talking in the group is, I mean, we're not saying that that I'm going to be hired or whatever, none of that. I'm just going to be introducing myself. Look, I've been talking to your company and the company is inviting me to do some work with the team. and I just wanted you to know how I do my work. It's kind of like you're giving them a preview of the work that you do.
A little
So
taste.
Okay,
how long
so
does
they
that
feel
mean?
very
Yeah.
they feel very respected.
And
They feel that that you've taken the company's taken us into confidence, and I'll tell you invariably the results are much better as opposed to now suddenly I'm showing up. Okay, now I'm showing up. Okay, so the company. You'll be glad to know blah blah blah. blah. Company has assigned me to work with your team. Who the hell are you?
Yeah.
Where did you suddenly come from?
So when you go for that first meeting, you're doing two things. One is you're testing the team, or not testing them, but testing out the waters. Like, could you actually coach them? Is that what you're doing? And then also
Yes.
saying, would you
And,
like me to
and
coach
I would
you?
be,
It's like
and I will tell you one thing, the biggest problem we sometimes face, and we've all done that, I've had those issues, I'm sure some of you have had those issues, that we find it hard to walk away from a done deal. The role of a group coach, some of you had asked right before lunch, what are some of the roles, okay, of a group coach? A group coach can have many different roles, and be wearing many different hats. Of course, we know empathic listening. Can anybody tell me what empathic really means? Versus just listening, we could have just said a great listener. What is an empathic listener?
Identifying more with the person.
What's that?
Identifying more
Empathic
with,
simply comes from empathy.
yeah.
Okay? Listening with empathy, listening with feeling, listening with emotion, listening with caring for the other person. Okay, not just listening, okay, I listened to what you said, but I'm not with you, type thing, I'm checked out. But I can only heard the words, but not the feelings, not the emotions behind it. But listening empathically really would mean that you're listening with meaning, with feeling, with mindfulness, right? Setting goals, of course, everybody knows that. Giving and receiving feedback, these are just no-brainers. Containing. Just want to talk about this containment aspect because this is going to come up again and again in this course. And it's a very vital aspect, okay? I know many of you are very successful individual coaches, okay? So I'm going to actually toss that out to you and ask you to reflect on what is it that we mean when we say containing. Why does a coach need to contain? And what is this coach containing? What is this containment that we talk about?
It's the space, the safe space.
What's that?
The safe space.
Okay, so they're containing, but what are they containing?
Themselves. Shut up. Judgment.
Okay.
Connection.
They're containing the group from getting out of control. I guess with group dynamics, they could go here or there.
Right.
So is that what it is? Like just, it could get very destructive. Like maybe they
Yeah.
start attacking
Yeah.
somebody. And so
It
to
could be
some
that.
extent,
Yeah. Yeah, but just go back, just build back a little bit.
yeah.
You're going like 5 steps ahead. You're right on, but you missed the first few steps.
First.
So they are doing that. Yes, they want to make sure that the group's focused, they're on task and everything. But why? Why is the group going in that direction? What is happening to the group?
The energy in the group.
Anxiety of the group. It is the anxiety. What the coach is containing, for the most part, is the anxiety of the group. And if you're in a dyadic coaching, you're containing the anxiety of your client. Potential benefits. A lot of people ask us, what are the benefits of group executive coaching? Okay? And I'm sharing this with you before because I would like for you to think about, just keep these in your mind in the context of the case study when we discuss it, so that we can illuminate some of those points in that case study as we talk about this. So allows members to collectively work through the various phases of group development, such as forming, storming, norming, performing in a journey. You will see that happening in the case study itself, and how from where they were to where they reach. And it was a reformation,-formation. They were already formed, but they had to reform in many ways they had to reform. They have to change the way they were thinking. Okay? Trust building with peers and direct reports. There was no trust. Trust was so low in that Awake at the Wheel case study, right? And how the coach, through his intervention, brings these people together as a more cohesive unit. When they can start to talk about very difficult stuff with each other, which they were not earlier not doing. Okay. Potential benefits. A lot of people ask us, what are the benefits of group executive coaching? Okay. And I'm sharing this with you before because I would like for you to think about, just keep these in your mind in the context of the case study when we discuss, and so that we can illuminate some of those points in that case study as we talk about this. So allows members to collectively work through the various phases of group development, such as forming, storming, norming, performing, and adjourning. You will see that happening in the case study itself, and how from where they were to where they reach. And it was a reformation, R-E-formation. They were already formed, but they had to reform. In many ways they had to reform. They had to change the way they were thinking. Okay? Trust building with peers and direct reports. There was no trust. Trust was so low in that Awake at the Wheel case study, right? And how the coach, through his intervention, brings these people together as a more cohesive unit. When they can start to talk about very difficult stuff with each other, which they were not earlier not doing. Okay.
So I do have a question here.
Go ahead.
And you know, sometimes you do have these executive teams that don't work very effectively with
Right.
each other, which is, you know, kind of similar to the case we've seen.
Mm-hmm.
And you know, there isn't trust. You know, there's, you know, everyone pulling each other apart. And so at what point do you really bring in group coaching?
Well, I would say that the ideal situation would be that you don't bring in group coaching to fix a problem. You bring in group coaching to add to a culture. So it can be a variety of things that are happening in the group itself, unbeknownst to the people. It's our awareness. So one might say, no, in our teams, the matrix teams and all that, it's not really happening. It is happening, trust me. You're just not seeing it. Or maybe you don't have, you've not attended a session where you don't know what to look for. And I'm not suggesting because you know what you look for, you start finding it. That's not the point. But if you know what you're looking for, there's greater chances that you might actually see it when it's happening there. And at least you know that it is happening and you can address that behavior. I'll give you a classic example of what derails a team's primary task. Well-stated task, everything is happening, and for whatever reason, there's a covert coalition that is formed between a couple of members of the team. Because of either their sentient ties or because they work very well together or whatever the case may be, and they have this coalition formed between them. It's called the basic assumption pairing. So the pairing is so strong within them that they are trying to derail the group. They can't help it.